Hello everybody, welcome back to the next session of Tabletop 100. At this point we've gone over dice and we've gone over ability scores. There's one more thing we need to go over before we can really dive into games system by system, and that is your character. The role you are going to be playing in these role-playing games. Now, this isn't going to be like generating stats or skills or things of that nature. This is going to be more involved in creating a character and a personality. Stats and skills will come later as each system has its own way of doing things like that. It's not the same per system. This is more a personality development. One of the first things you need to figure out is your character's concept. Characters, much like people, don't come fully formed, so don't expect your character to have a well-rounded personality immediately. Things will come out as you play the game and as you go through your adventures. One thing that I tend to find useful when creating tabletop characters is the idea of a flaw. Now, a flaw isn't something like, oh, my character is clumsy, or oh, my character is something else. I don't know. Clumsy is always the one that I see a lot of people put, which is why I tend to use it as the example. But to me, a flaw is an inherent personality trait that people will negatively view you for. Something like you're quick to anger, or you're an alcoholic, or you have this sense of justice that you don't sway from. Things like that are character flaws that help you flesh out and generate conflict in character and in universe, rather than outside at the table itself. Now, I've seen many people use alcoholic as a flaw, and that works great as a flaw, but some of the people who have used that often also use it as being a butt of a joke. Now, to say that your flaw cannot lead to jokes is wrong. I think your flaw can lead to many humorous moments. Tabletop gaming, while yes, you have the serious storytelling, is also just having fun with your friends around a table. But if you treat everything that you do with your flaw as a joke, it'll often fall flat. I've played characters that are incredibly egotistical, and I have used flaws wonderfully when designing both drama and comedy. But if you treat every moment your flaw comes up as a joke, it'll often fall flat, in my opinion. Now, there is one thing I should say before we continue. Your class and your race are not your character. When it comes to designing something like a paladin, you shouldn't make the fact that you're a religious warrior your sole personality characteristic. There is more to a person than just the job they have, and I think you should build characters that way as well. Now, there's one last thing I want to talk about today before we leave, and that is the knife theory. Now, what is the knife theory? It's a Reddit post that I found not too long ago that gives details on how to build your characters in order to let the DM make them feel as though they are part of a larger world. Each knife is something that you give your DM with which to stab you. Now, what constitutes a knife? Things like a named character or organization that you were a part of, oaths that you took that you failed or succeeded, different details to your backstory, anything that you would find that your character has a past or a history with can constitute as a knife in the long run. Now, does everyone need to come to the table with 12 knives? No, you really don't need knives at all. But if you want a full-fledged character, bringing knives to the table is something that can help you out a lot. If you want your character to form naturally over the course of the campaign and basically come in as a nobody, that's fine. These are games about doing what you want to do. I am just here to teach you how to play them and give you advice for what I found works for me. I'm not here to gatekeep. But thank you for tuning in. Join us next time as we begin to look into an actual system, starting with probably the most popular at this point, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition.